Welcome to Momotales.
Long ago, in a quiet valley, three brothers named Leo, Theo, and Max lived peacefully with their talking bear friend, Momo. Each brother had a brave heart, but a different gift: courage, wisdom, and kindness. Far away in the Silver Mountains, three identical princesses were trapped in a magical labyrinth. A powerful enchantress had cursed them, making their identities impossible to tell apart. The curse could only be broken by those who saw with their hearts, not their eyes. Many tried and failed, thinking appearances were enough. One morning, the king announced a challenge across the kingdoms. Whoever uncovers the true identity of my daughters shall free them and unite the kingdoms forever. The three brothers accepted the quest without hesitation. Momo packed extra honey cakes, saying, "This smells like a tricky journey and I get grumbly when I'm hungry." They traveled across rivers, meadows, and talking forests until they reached a massive stone labyrinth. Vines wrapped its walls, and an eerie whisper echoed within. At the entrance, a glowing message appeared in midair. "Only those who feel beyond the face shall find the path to truth." As they stepped inside, the labyrinth sealed behind them. The ground trembled, and glowing paths twisted in all directions. A soft voice boomed, "You may not walk together, for the heart's journey is walked alone." Instantly, the brothers were separated. Momo remained in the center, standing by a wise old tree. The tree whispered, "Only nature remembers the truth of each soul." Momo listened carefully as leaves fluttered messages in the wind. He began gathering clues about each princess. One loves birds, one hums when nervous, and one always picks the blue flower. Meanwhile, Leo found himself in a burning maze of stone, with fire blocking his way. A princess stood in the center, calm and quiet. "Which one are you?" Leo asked, sweating. The princess smiled and said nothing. As the flames grew taller, Leo noticed the princess gently shielding a tiny lizard from the heat. "You're the one with the brave heart but gentle hands," he whispered. The flames disappeared instantly. The princess smiled wider and nodded. "You saw me." In another part of the labyrinth, Theo found a garden of mirrors, each one reflecting a different version of himself. A princess sat silently among the reflections. "This place is full of tricks," Theo muttered. The princess didn't speak, but her reflection showed her picking blue flowers. Theo remembered what Momo once said, "Look for the things that don't change, no matter the reflection." He gently reached out his hand. "You're the one who always chooses blue," he said with confidence. The mirrors shattered softly into petals. The princess took his hand. "You truly saw me," she said warmly. Max wandered into a maze filled with music and wind chimes. Notes danced in the air, but they made no sense to him. A princess stood beside a tree, her back turned. Max tried asking questions, but she said nothing. Then, he heard a faint hum off-key, but sweet, like someone calming their nerves. He quietly stepped forward. "You hum when you're unsure, don't you?" he asked gently. The wind stilled. The princess turned and smiled. "Yes, I was afraid no one would notice." Max smiled back. "I always notice." Back in the center, Momo danced around the tree with excitement. "The brothers found them!" he cheered. The ground shook again, and the labyrinth shifted into one big, open courtyard. The brothers and the three princesses appeared, walking hand in hand. The enchantress who cursed them stood above, floating with glowing eyes. "How did you uncover the truth when so many failed?" she asked coldly. "We didn't guess," said Leo. "We listened. We didn't look at their faces," added Theo. "We looked at their hearts, and we trusted feelings over appearances," Max finished. Momo added, "And I smelled the truth." The enchantress stared silently, then burst into a cloud of golden sparkles. Her spell was broken at last. Light filled the sky, and the labyrinth crumbled into a field of wildflowers. Birds sang as if celebrating freedom. The king arrived with tears in his eyes. "You've done the impossible," he whispered. "You've restored identity where there was only confusion." The brothers knelt respectfully. "It wasn't power," said Leo. "Just love, patience, and paying attention." The princesses giggled. "And Momo's honey cakes helped too." That night, a grand feast was held under the stars. Momo sat between the princesses, happily munching on a glowing blueberry pie. "We were never meant to be the same," said one princess. "But we were cursed to look like copies. Now the world can see us for who we are," said another. "Thanks to you." The youngest princess gifted Momo a golden acorn. "You're not just a bear," she said. "You're a friend with the biggest heart." The field where the labyrinth once stood became a new garden, the garden of true faces. Children from all over the land came to play and learn how to see people for who they really are. The brothers became teachers, sharing stories about kindness, bravery, and emotional wisdom. The princesses opened a school of heart magic, where the main rule was, always ask what someone feels, not just what they show. Momo became the garden's guardian. He wore a leafy crown and told stories under a mushroom-shaped tent. Every full moon, the brothers and princesses would gather and sing songs they heard in the labyrinth. Each song had a lesson about fear, trust, and seeing what matters most. And each time they sang, glowing petals would rise from the garden and float into the sky. "Those are heart echoes," Momo said. "They remind people to listen more." The kingdom grew kinder, more understanding, and more united than ever before. Even animals seemed to understand each other better. Momo claimed he could now talk to frogs. "But they mostly gossip," he whispered. The story of the labyrinth was passed on from generation to generation. It taught kids that everyone has something special, even if they look just like someone else. And that real magic happens when you care enough to notice the little things. On the final page of every storybook, Momo's face was drawn with a honey cake in his paw. The caption read, "Be like Momo, follow your nose and your heart." As the stars sparkled above the peaceful valley, the brothers, princesses, and Momo sat by the campfire. "That labyrinth didn't trap us," said Theo. "It taught us, and we never would have made it without each other," Max added. Momo stretched, yawned, and curled into a blanket. "Best adventure ever," he mumbled, and soon they were all dreaming under the moonlight. Moral of the story: real identity comes from the heart, not appearances. When we take time to listen, notice, and care, we find magic in others and in ourselves.
More rhymes, more stories, more smiles. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Momotales.